Our second speaker tonight is Paul Dombrowski, who is an ROI analyst for printing presses. Tonight, he's going to tell you a story about his friend Brian. By sheer human will, conquered the city of Chicago with one arm and a powerful spirit to overcome adversary. Our God-given will to live the best possible life is stronger than you ever imagined. Please, do not applaud. Do not count your blessings every day. Do you count your blessings every day? Paul Dombrowski, do you count your blessings every day?
My friend Brian Benkendorf was born in 1959, 8 weeks after his father died. For 20 years, Brian's 4 sisters and 2 brothers and his mom worked to protect Brian against the sad, painful memory of never having known his father, Dr. Clark Benkendorf. Dr. Clark Benkendorf was a noted chest surgeon who had the Benkendorf Clinic in Bushnell, Illinois. He was one of the first doctors to start a TB sanitarium in Illinois. His brothers and sisters and his mom did a great job because when Brian hit high school, he soared. He was a leader in academics, in sports, in school spirit. In the junior and senior year of his high school career, he was the captain of the basketball team and the football team. And in the summer of his first college year, he was driving back from his construction job late at night. And he fell asleep at the wheel and hit a concrete embankment and severely injured his spine at the C5. He was in a coma for about a month. There was discussion as to pull the plug, don't pull the plug. Miraculously, Brian regained consciousness, did all the work to get himself rehabilitated, and fitted into a customized wheelchair. Here's what that wheelchair looked like, by the way, just to have this picture in your mind. He is paralyzed from the torso down. He could breathe from his diaphragm, which is a very good thing when you're a quadriplegic. His left hand formed up into a claw. He could kind of move it into the back of the wheelchair. His right hand, depending on how you define mobility and strength, was just enough to be able to sip from his cup, run a keyboard, and operate his motorized wheelchair. He got himself through his college at the University of Illinois with a computer science degree, and Brian decides that I want to move to the city of Chicago, live at Columbus Plaza at 233 East Wacker Drive in room 201, and work for Amoco in their computer services department. And that's exactly what he did. I'm in that building on 43, the same building, and oftentimes in the morning I'm coming down, stops at 2, door opens, and there's Brian. Here's what he looked like. I described his wheelchair. Here's the Brian. Handsome young man, dark hair, shaved, bright, clear blue eyes, suit, tie, his cup of water and straw right there, sitting there, and he had the most optimistic and excited look that I'm going to work. And this real gentleness, like, hey, is there a space in there for my back, his wheelchair there? And rain or shine, spring and winter, same thing. He'd go out that elevator, the 300 yards down the street to the Amoco building, same, come back at night. I had an opportunity next meeting Brian in the lobby of Columbus Plaza, and I asked him, so what happened to you? And he gave me the story, partly about what I just described to you. And we got to be good neighbors. I met his family, his brothers, his mother, his friends. He had in his apartment all these pictures of his nieces and nephews, and he could tell you every one of their names, what they're doing, where they are in school, what their dreams are. He'd love to go to basketball games. He had a customized van. He had 6 friends that had courtside seats at the United Center. He went through every one of the Bulls season winnings. And I can just visualize Brian sitting courtside, reliving his basketball days, because he was a great basketball player, brought his whole team together, by the way. He also loved going to the beach. That was one of his favorite things to do, is take that one arm, motorize his wheelchair down Michigan Avenue, go to the beach, spend the beach, and on a Saturday and Sunday, spend the whole day at the beach, and come back. One Sunday, on my bike, I'm going to go to the Oak Street Beach, and if you're familiar, right at the Michigan Avenue Bridge, there's a long incline to Oak Street. I'm on my bike, and I like to accelerate down there as fast as I can, moving in and around traffic, and just as I get to Oak Street in front of the Drake Hotel, I see Brian. We see each other's eyes. And he had seen me coming down the hill, and I saw him parked, starting to come back. And he had such a happy look on his face, this sunny-faced, and I don't know which one of us was having more fun. I pantomimed throwing him a football. He, with his one arm, pretended like he caught it, and I just visualized him motoring up the sidewalk going back to the apartment, making a touchdown. One day at Columbus Plaza, I come in there, and there's Brian. He had a different look on his face. And he asked me, "Can you help me?" I said, "Yeah, sure." Go up to his apartment, stop in front of his bathroom. And just like I imagined his dad would have talked in a surgical room, he said, "Here's what you do. Pull up my pants leg, unbuckle that bag, disconnect the hose, turn off the valve, pour it out, put it back on, strap it out." And I did it just, boom, all done, just like I was changing the oil. And it was at that moment that I realized that from the minute he wakes up in the morning until the minute that he goes to bed at night, he needs a personal care assistant. I had not computed in my brain that he truly had only one arm. I'm going to fast forward to the last year of his life. He had 2 hospital stays, 4 weeks each stay. And the last day that he's there, I brought him a steak dinner, and I would oftentimes do that. Steak, mashed potatoes, sauteed mushrooms. And he never knew when he would eat it because, hey, he didn't know if he was hungry or not, and he couldn't arrange it, so you just bring it into him. And even if he wasn't hungry, he'd have a bite just to be courteous. This day, he couldn't touch it. And I could see things around him that weren't looking good. And one of the things he liked to do, this was about 8 o'clock at night, and when the nurse would give him his morphine shot, he had about 10 minutes of consciousness, and he liked you to be with him, just to have that last, hey, this little human contact. So he had just gotten a shot, and for some reason, somebody had tracked me down at the nurse's station. They had a call for me. So now I see I have 1 minute or 10 minutes left with Brian. So I go out, take the call, I try to get it, be civil on the call, and in the other ear, I hear the silence coming out of Brian's room, and I could just feel the clock ticking down. I got rid of that call and went in there. I tried to neutralize my face so that everything is... And Brian says, "Hey, what happened to you?" I said, "Hey, no big deal, Brian." The last thing he said to me is, "Paul, I never want anything bad to happen to you." I got a call from his brother the next morning. Brian had passed away. The lesson that Brian teaches me, and maybe would teach all of us, is when you get up in the morning, change one word from have to get to. I get to get up. I get to go to work. And we count our blessings. You have been a great audience listening, and you do have your hands that can work, so give yourself an applause.